Well, hello, it's Reverend Paul here, and it's really good to welcome you to St John's Church here in Staple Grove. I know that you're not able to come up at the moment, so I'm going to give you a guided tour to our church. So here I am, standing at the door of the church, and in a moment I'm going to flip my screen round and hopefully be able to show you around. Let's see what's inside. Well, the first thing you see when you enter the church here at St John's is the font. And the font's really important. It's where we baptise people, where we christen people, often babies and children, but not always. And the font is the first thing we see for a good reason. It's always right next to the door of the church. And the reason for that is that when we christen people, what we're doing is we're welcoming them into the church. It's the beginning of their journey of faith. So the idea is that you enter the church and there immediately you find the font. And normally, of course, or when we baptise people, we fill the font up with water and we take the baby or the child or sometimes an adult and we wash them in what's called the water of baptism, so that they can begin this journey with God with a new start, if you like, with a clean slate. This font is really old. It goes back hundreds of years, and you can see nice stone carvings on the outside showing Jesus and other people, other biblical characters. We sometimes decorate it with flowers. Well, this golden stand with an eagle on it is called a lectern. And a lectern is where we read from. Christians have a special book called the Bible, and this lectern holds our big Bible. And every Sunday in our services, two people come to the lectern here, and they read parts of the Bible. Now, you wouldn't read the whole Bible, it's 66 books long. So we hear bits of the Bible at a time. And the fact that it's a golden eagle is significant too, because the eagle is a symbol of the evangelists, the four people who wrote the most important books in the Bible, which are the Gospels, the stories of Jesus' life: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Yesterday, we heard a part of Mark's Gospel in our service from the lectern. Well, I hope that you can see me and you can hear me. This big wooden structure that I'm standing on now, standing in, is called the pulpit. And the pulpit is a big structure where somebody, usually the vicar, comes to give what's called a sermon, which is a talk about the Bible and what the Bible means. So in our services, we hear words from the Bible given from the lectern, and then the vicar will come sometimes to the pulpit and talk about what it all means. And this pulpit is really old, and it's deliberately high so that I can be high up, so that people can see me and that they can hear me clearly for when I'm talking to them. Crosses are important in churches. You may have noticed that there are quite a lot of crosses in St John's Church here, as there are in all Christian churches. The cross is the most important symbol of the Christian faith. And this cross is special to us. It's big, it's heavy, it's golden, and it's beautiful. And in special services, we process this cross round, maybe at Christmas and at Easter, so that people can see it. And on the middle of the cross here, you may not be able to see that there's another golden eagle, and on each corner of the cross there's a symbol of the Holy Trinity: God as Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Crosses help us as Christians to remember what our faith is all about. Jesus' death on the cross on Good Friday, and then his resurrection when he came back to life on Easter Sunday. And this church is a special building to all of us. It's special to me, it's special to all Christians. But it is just a building. It is, though, a symbol of something that's much more important. It's a symbol of God's presence and a symbol of God's love shared with us through Jesus, who died on the cross and rose again for us. One of the most important parts of the church is the altar, and you can see the altar here, which is a table, a very special table, and you'll notice there's a cross in the middle of it, and we light 2 candles on either side of the altar. Candles are important, and we light them in our churches to remind us of the presence of God. Jesus said, "I am the light of the world." And the lights that we light here on our candles, on our altar, remind us of those words and that God is with us all the time. And this altar is important because on Sundays we celebrate communion from the table here, where we remember the Last Supper of Jesus' life, his last meal, where he had a meal with his friends and they ate bread and drank wine. And Jesus commanded his disciples to do the same. And so we continue to do that. We eat bread and we drink wine to remember Jesus, to remember his sacrifice on the cross, and to celebrate his victory over death. And this altar helps us to do that. While I was standing at the altar, I've spotted something, well, very concerning. This little spot on the wall behind me, you might be able to see. It doesn't look like it, but it's a massive spider. Now, I don't know about you, but I really don't like spiders. I'll see if I can get a close-up for you, and I'm really not sure what I'm going to do about it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that kind of mini tour of St John's Church here, and I hope that you'll be able to come up at some point soon and have a proper look round yourselves. You'll be very welcome, and I promise that I'll get rid of that spider before you come, and I'm going to find somebody now to get rid of it for me because I don't want to go near it.